Good afternoon, everybody. This is Freedom Forum News. My name is Chuck Black, and we are speaking with Samantha Flatman. She is the managing director of an organization called We Are All Essential, which started out about a month ago and has begun an initiative to open up all businesses across Canada, very much on the model of what happened in Italy in January of this year, where a few hundred businesses opened initially, then a few thousand, and then a few tens of thousands. And now the country is more than half open, and it looks like the government may fall. So we're hoping the same sort of thing will happen here. Good afternoon, Samantha. Tell us about your organization.
Thank you, Chuck, and thank you for having us on here. We welcome any opportunity to spread more awareness around our initiative. Essentially, for those that aren't familiar with WeAreAllEssential.ca, we are a Canada-wide network of small businesses that are supporting one another, standing together, locking arms, and taking a stand against lockdowns. We are essentially a network that is empowering small business owners around first of all, understanding their rights and how to exercise those rights and how to fully open up their businesses to protect their livelihoods and, quite frankly, the freedoms and the rights of all Canadians at the same time. So we did kick off. It's actually been almost, well, I guess about 6 weeks ago. We did our full kickoff. Or I should say we initiated it, but the kickoff that most people have heard about was on February 11th, where we started the mass reopening of Canada, and we're just getting started. Definitely some plans in the works to expand our network beyond and beyond.
You said that I think the literature said that 500 or so businesses had commenced the initial reopening on February 11th. Can you tell me some stories about what happened to them when they reopened? Were they all attacked by the mounted police? Were they all arrested and thrown in chains? What happened to these businesses that opened up?
Thankfully not. Yes, I think a lot of people remember what happened with Adam Skelly a number of months ago. That was not the case on the 11th. However, many of the businesses were approached by bylaw, and bylaw was, standing there with big policemen and lots of intimidation tactics were employed. However, really proud of our members who chose to fully open that day and stood their ground and really exercised their rights beautifully. No one received a ticket. There was one summons to court. However, we're confident that's not going to hold up based on how we're approaching this. Many of the business owners have are exercising their rights to operate their businesses under common law. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But considering how much publicity our campaign, our initiative got, and how public many of the businesses were about taking a stand, we could have seen a more of the hammer coming down on them, and we did not see that. And what's interesting, Chuck, is that there is a barbershop in Ottawa that took a stand and was visited by bylaw, and he exercised his rights under common law, was not issued a ticket. And this woman then went next door to the business who was also open, and she did not exercise in the same way, and she was issued $1,000 ticket. And I meant to follow up. I don't know if she's actually a part of our network, and we'll make sure that she is moving forward so that she can better protect herself. But overall, as much as not all 500 businesses opened up fully on that day, we made an incredible statement and inspired many more businesses to join us and to get behind the scenes and start learning how they can also take a stand. So it was a huge success on that level, and we're looking to see many more businesses, to support many more businesses opening up fully in the coming weeks.
So this reminds me of another question I was going to ask you. You just finished saying that not only are you encouraging businesses to open, but you're also offering them advice and places to go and legal suggestions on how to remain open and deal with the bylaw officers and deal with the police as this initiative moves forward. Is that a fair thing?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that we're giving legal advice. What we do is we help connect business owners with existing materials, information, people who are, have maybe studied common law for decades, people who are very well versed in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and providing support that way. So, we don't have a legal team, on staff or anything like that, but we definitely help to connect business owners with resources that'll support them in understanding their rights. And we also connect them with organizations that are set up to support them too. So whether that's Rebel News and their Fight the Fines campaign, they have a legal team on board and crowdfunding those legal fees, right? The Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, we're closely connected with them, and if necessary, we connect business owners with them. Stand Up Canada Solutions. There's a number of organizations that are really there to support business owners. So we're more of a network, truly a network where we connect people, and the behind the scenes support is really important too, because it's business owners have in many cases that they felt very much alone, and so to be connected on a daily basis. We have a private Telegram chat where business owners can really support each other. Here's what's happened. How do I deal with this? Right? There's this ongoing dialogue, which is really beautiful. And we also have Zoom meetups as well for them to help support one another.
So your organization doesn't just provide advocacy, you also provide assistance to business owners looking to just survive in the current fiscal and business situation in Ontario and across the country. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And it's been beautiful to see, because as much as we've, myself and Vlad Sobolev, the founder of WeAreAllEssential, as much as we set up the infrastructure, the hubs for business owners to come together, at this point, it's really taken on a life of its own. And it's a very active network. So each business owner is coming in, learning, sharing their experience, paying it forward, right? And it's just this, they're supporting each other more than even us from our positions are, in a sense. Mm-hmm.
That sounds good. I can't help but note that as your initial campaign for February 11th got up and running, the Ontario provincial government, the Doug Ford government, actually changed the rules and regulations so that most businesses are now allowed to open at 25% capacity. Do you think your initiative had any influence on the Ford's government decision to reopen at least partially the smaller businesses?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I certainly can't confirm it. They didn't reach out to us. However, the timing is very interesting. Absolutely. And, we were approached by many mainstream media leading up to the 11th. So for the 2 weeks leading up to the 11th, so we had a number of interviews and word was getting out there. Our social media has been blowing up, and a lot of Canadians are very actively supporting us and tagging politicians about our initiative. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt that we played a part in that. And at the same time, it's just not enough. It's not enough. I mean, the vast majority of businesses these days are operating at, less than 50% are fully open. Only 22% are seeing normal sales levels across Canada. These 25% type occupancy, it's just not sustainable. At this point, it's just too little, too late. And I believe that most business owners at this point just are lacking some trust, some faith in the government to look after them. And it's if they don't take a stand, if we don't take a stand as Canadians, and certainly small business owners, we're looking at almost 250,000 businesses going under by the spring. And with that, almost 3 million jobs. So it's not a small issue. It's one that needs to be addressed. And, at this point, most business owners are looking at down the barrel of bankruptcy. And this is a matter of survival. This is a matter of putting food on their tables for their families and their employees' families.
I would agree. And I would note that you are not the only organization going down this path. The Chamber of Commerce, the Toronto Chamber of Commerce, has issued a press release yesterday promising to do much the same thing. Do you think they were perhaps inspired by your organization?
I don't know for sure, but hey, I'm all for anyone taking some action with respect to these lockdowns, and I hope that we continue to inspire more organizations, more associations, more businesses obviously to start taking a stand. Yeah, because we've seen now, many months into this now, we have the data that is showing us that lockdowns have not been effective, in curbing the spread, and they've only added, the collateral damage from them is very clear at this point. So, we got to ask, what's the cost benefit analysis? Has there been any? Right? Are we seeing more deaths and more, negative repercussions from these lockdowns than we're seeing any, benefit from when it comes to the virus? Right?
You're right. There's certainly some reasonable questions that need to be asked and answered by the provincial and federal governments. And to that end, I note that your February 11th initiative is just the beginning. You are like Italy in January when only a few hundred businesses had opened up. You're trying to get thousands to open. What is upcoming for the We Are Essential organization?
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, we are. Many were under the impression that this was a one-day protest. Well, no, it is definitely not a one-day protest. It was merely the kickoff on the 11th. So full steam ahead. We're looking to really expand our network exponentially. And we're looking to we've just, as of today, set a new date for the sort of second wave of our resistance. And yeah, we're looking at March 1st to do another big push to really support, twice as many businesses, if not more, to fully open on March 1st. So that is the next big date to shoot for, and for all Canadians to rally behind. We appreciate everyone who has done, their part to share our message in whatever way they can, and to continue to reach out to business owners who may not know about us, right? If we're looking at 250,000 businesses possibly going under by the spring, and we have just, over 500 in our network right now, I mean, there is a massive gap between the number of businesses that we can support and the number that we're currently supporting. So yeah, we're just getting started. We don't plan on stopping until we see the changes that I think most Canadians are seeking right now.
Until everything opens, until we can go to a coffee shop, and until we can until we can take back our lives from government. I would imagine that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, and I've really noticed that Canadians, I've as an activist this past year, I've posted a lot of information studies and things on topics that were controversial, and there's been a lot of pushback in the past. I tell you, these last couple of months, posting, I've been managing the social media accounts. As in my role, I'm most focused on marketing, communications, coordination, and I've noticed that I would say about 95% of the feedback is overwhelmingly supportive and full of gratitude. And Canadians are ready for this. I think Canadians in general have had enough, and they just haven't really known how to take a stand. And this is one way in which I think this issue, and this is my own sort of, I guess, perspective. I believe that, either you're a business owner or somebody who's a business owner who has been affected, and you can see it. There's a face to this, right? It's not just a stat. Like, sure, we can throw some stats out there, but at this point, I think most people have had some personal experience with that, and it's, the support has been unbelievable. There has been very little pushback on what we are doing, and yeah, so it's encouraging to see. I think there has been a real shift in in I don't know, just the perspective of Canadians. Yeah.
I thank you very much for your time. We have been speaking with Samantha Flatman. She is the managing director of an organization called We Are All Essential, and she is lobbying to reopen Canada for business. Topics discussed in this video will be included in the show notes below.
Thank you so much.